All right, everyone, you're live.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. I hope everyone has been safe and is healthy. Um, I'm glad that we're able to meet like this despite all the circumstances. I know I've missed you all. I guess we can go ahead and call the May 14th, 2020 DDA meeting to order. Um, are we waiting on any other people to log in? Does anyone know?
I think this is it, Jason.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, Linda. I guess we'll start with an approval of the minutes from February 13th. If I can get a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from February 13th. Is there a second?
Thanks, Whit. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. I guess we won't be having any public input. So, does anyone know if we have anyone giving any community reports outside of the chamber?
I don't think so. Michael Ben had said he might call in, but I don't see him on. So
Okay, we can always circle back around to him if he does. Whit, do you want to give us a chamber update?
Absolutely. So again, a lot of awesome stuff been happening in the chamber. I think David Bradley and their whole team has done a really good job of organizing a lot of webinars, being very relevant during this time. With the regards to PPP, the chamber assisted in getting 42 businesses in the PPP program, connected them to bankers. It's about $1.7 million. It was also, they assisted today with the SBDC and hosting a webinar on now that you got the money, what to do with it. So if you tuned into that webinar, you probably found it very helpful. Moving forward, they're going to continue to have the business and community updates every Wednesday. I believe it's at 9 a.m. You can find out that information on the chamber website, as well as a shout out to the Classic Center since they're not here. The chamber is joined with them and Terrapin Beer for a partnership to do a band together concert series. It's going to be every Thursday at 7 p.m. Couple other things. This Monday, there's going to be a webinar. It's called Thriving in the Storm. Sounds like you probably want to tune into that. And lastly, there's a gift fly. It's a digital gift card purchasing system. It says it's going to be up on the website early next week. They just rolled it out, but it's free to sign up. Basically, all you have to do is input your business information, and people can go online there and buy digital gift cards for your business. Again, free to sign up. I think their fee has been waived as well. So it might be a great time to sign your business up. That's all I got for right now.
Awesome. Thanks, Whit. I know David's working hard over there, and I know everybody appreciates it. Well, I guess we can go ahead and move on to the director's report.
Okay. I have two items in front of you. I have two items in front of you today, and the first of which is our annual recommendation to Athens-Clarke County to assess a mill of additional taxes on the property tax of each downtown property owner that falls within the ADDA tax district. As board members realize, property owners pay this additional 1 mill of tax to fund downtown programming and to enhance the economic vitality of downtown. But in order to do that, we need to send a formal resolution from this board to the Athens-Clarke County Mayor and Commission requesting that they ask the tax commissioner to assess that additional mill for all downtown properties. So I'm asking you to approve the resolution in front of you, which makes that formal request.
All right. I'll entertain any motions.
I'll make a motion to approve, Jason.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Okay, thank you for that motion. The next item in front of you is the annual Community Enhancement Program funding request. And typically, we often will analyze the applications and make a recommendation for specific funding levels later in the year. The deadline for FY21 special events funding through CEP was February 28th, and we received 19 applications for a total of $121,125 in requests for CEP funding. This is everything from AthFest and Twilight to Hot Corner to Latinx Festival, so on and so forth. Obviously, we don't have $121,000 to dedicate to these events. For most of this program, the funding level was $60,000. Last year, Mayor Gertz was generous enough to find $90,000 to apply to downtown events. We're not certain of what the funding level is going to be this year, so we may want to put this on hold until we get a more definitive number. You have in front of you scenarios that would fund these events at a total of $90,000, and that would provide some of our larger events like AthFest and Twilight up to $15,000 worth of CEP money. And you also have the traditional figure of $60,000, which I sent to you by email, which is typical. They're essentially the same percentages that would apply to the 90K, but to a lesser amount. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and approve at one funding level or wait till we get some more definition from Athens-Clarke County on what that funding level is going to be. And perhaps Mayor Gertz and Commissioner Hamby can weigh in on this and what they're looking at.
So I'll just let everybody know a little bit about our budget cycle and process this year, which is slightly different than it's been in the past. Unsurprisingly, given our circumstances. And typically, we have final commission approval of the budget the first Tuesday of June. But we wanted a little bit of a buffer this year as we work through the crisis period. So the final budget approval is anticipated for June 16th, 2 weeks later. The commission has their first full discussion of the budget that I presented to them next Thursday. So a week from today. And there are 3 budget sessions that are programmed onto the calendar. So, just in terms of absolute knowledge, we're about 5 weeks out from certainty about budget levels. I continue to be favorable toward a $90,000 amount, although recognizing that some of the activities that may have happened in a non-COVID world may not happen in COVID land. So anyhow, it's something to think about. I don't know that it hurts at all to defer this question until the commission has made a final decision.
Question, have all the deadlines been met already? You said February was the deadline in 2021?
February 28th was the deadline for CEP applications to be submitted to the Downtown Development Authority. And we've got all the applications that we traditionally get.
Okay.
We have a pretty, Elisa runs a fairly robust outreach program to all the organizers of festivals. And we feel confident that everyone that was going to apply met the deadline.
Okay.
I do want to point out one thing, and as Mayor Gertz alluded to, the the action to dedicate the funding level from the budget is a separate action from approving the events and funding levels for those events. So that can wait. I did want to point out to you that the Star Spangled Classic, which has applied for CEP applications for the past several years for their downtown fireworks event, withdrew after the application. And I left it there just for discussion and just for your information. The Leisure Services said if they were going to have the event at all, it was most likely not going to be downtown. I disagree with that. If they're going to have it at all, it should be downtown. But that's a discussion for the mayor and commission. So I just left that there for your information that fireworks, according to Leisure Services at least, may not happen this year. But it seems like if it was going to be safe enough for being a park at anywhere, it would be safe enough to be downtown. But again, that's a discussion for the mayor and commission.
I got another question too. Now this community assessment program, is that pertaining to all the activities that are presently going on? Could another activity be added to what normally takes place downtown throughout the year?
Well, typically for a specific fiscal year, and this fiscal year 2021 starts July 1, the mayor and commission will have an approved list of festivals or events that will qualify for this particular level of funding. There is a mechanism, for example, if we had a cancellation, that we could fund another event, but then that would have to go before the mayor and commission.
But I could look forward to the next year if I wanted.
Yes, sir.
A plan.
Yeah, February 28, 2021, we welcome an application.
Okay.
So if we table this for a month, it's not gonna hinder anyone's ability to have an upcoming event if they were able to, correct?
That's correct. I mean, in the past, I think we've even put this off till August. So I'll notify Athens-Clarke County Central Services, generally the events that we would like to see approved and at a basic funding level, but formal requests could come certainly at a much later date.
Okay, so it sounds like it might be best to table this and wait on a more accurate assessment from the mayor and commission.
I agree.
All right. Jason, I'll move to table this if you're looking for a motion.
All right. Anybody else on a second?
I think Whit just did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't see Whit anymore. He disappeared.
Yeah, sometimes there's a little lag between, it seems like, between switching over to the person talking. But we'll just take a vote. All those in favor of tabling the CEP funds until the mayor budget comes through?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, great. Thank you.
All right, so we'll start with this next item. This is the item for our parking lots that Frank Pittman, doing business as Park Care Athens, manages for us. This is the 3 parking lots off Doherty Street. And he manages the parking for football games and for special events, like when Twilight is there. We've had a contract with him for 6 years. It's time to execute a new contract, and the way we do that is we sign a contract for 1 year with 2 years option on it. So everything's just the same as it was before. We received 70% of the net revenue. Last year, for example, we got about $19,000 from the parking operation. So if anybody has any questions about that, Frank has been great to work with. No problems.
I make a motion, we authorize the directors to execute a contract for special event parking with Frank Pittman doing business as Park Here Athens for 1 year with the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year periods.
Second.
I think that was a motion and a second, Jason.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
You opposed? All right, great. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. The next item we do not need a vote on. This is just an update on where we are with the budget. I'm sure everybody has been very curious in these times how we're doing, and so this is what we're looking at for next year. This is a very, very conservative estimate, assuming that we do not get any money from parking, although for the next 3 months, which I believe that we will. But again, I'm a kind of a worst case scenario person. So if we do not open parking back up until July, we're still okay. And I wanted the board to be aware of that and how we're doing. Last year, we put 3 months operating funds into a reserve account. We have not had to touch that yet, so that's great. We've are looking at the budget for next year with a lot of cuts, but we still have money left for programming, which is great. And then we also will look at some other revenue sources for programming next year. But again, we won't vote on this until June and possibly even July. We'll have a lot more information then about our revenue expectations. So, but I just wanted the board to be aware of where we're at. We're in good shape thanks to the board's conservative management of the budget. Does anybody have any questions about that? Or please feel free to reach out if you do have any questions later on about what that looks like. Okay. The next item, I don't know if we need to vote on it or not, or just to go ahead. Paul Kramer, who's the director at the Classic Center, came to us last week with an idea when we reopen downtown, to reopen it on a positive note. As you may know, the Classic Center has leased out their Grand Hall to a company called BioPlanet, and they make equipment that sanitizes places like casinos and cruise ships and hotels and places that really, really need more than your normal deep cleaning. And so they make these machines, which I've put a little summary in your packet. But and also Athens-Clarke County's been using a couple of these machines. Central Services has purchased 2 to use in police cars and the transit system and those areas. But what Paul would like to do is to partner with us and with the county to request some of the resiliency fund to purchase a couple of these machines and then to hire out of work hospitality industry workers. And so what this would do is it provides jobs, it provides a service for businesses, and then it also is a way for us to say to people thinking about coming back into downtown Athens, hey, we understand your concern and we're being proactive as far as sanitation. And again, this is really just to, for the board to say you're interested and authorize the directors and our attorney to work with the Classic Center to pursue this idea.
Interested. Pursue the idea.
Okay.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. That's all I have, Jason.
All right, thanks, Linda. Does anyone have any unfinished business? Anyone with any new business?
I believe Greg has some new business he wanted to go over with us.
right.
Yes. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. We have been approached by am I echoing to you?
You sound fine. I can't see your face anymore, but I can hear you.
Okay, well, I'm echoing to myself. All right. Um, we've been approached by the Classic Center Authority to assist in a bond issuance for the part of their new development project that deals with senior condominium. This is a project that the County Economic Development Authority was not really interested in, but we have the authority to do it, the legal authority to do it, and of course would be done for a fee, as would be any bond issuance. This is in the beginning stages. We don't know a lot of. Looking for today is the opportunity to just let you know about it and then move forward with more information.
All right.
So what I just need to hear any kind of general yays or nays about this concept.
And this is the Classic Center approaching you for this?
Classic Center Authority.
Okay.
And Greg, obviously, I've been involved in conversations around this. This is Kelly. This is one of the anticipated funding streams for the Classic Center's construction of the arena. So this has essentially been baked into their master plan. And, you know, I think an enormous benefit is that what it does is introduce a new constituency into downtown, you know, sort of a 55 and up residential population, which, you know, at least in my view, you know, is an asset to downtown, you know, when you think about its diversity and long-term stability. I encourage
Got it.
to be a partner in that.
Greg, this is Mike. Do you know, there's been any discussions about what the fee would be for the ADA?
What would be?
The fee coming to the.
I don't know yet. It's from our perspective, it's still in the very early stages of being approached about the concept, and we didn't want to take another step forward until you had been briefed and just give us some up or down as to whether it's something worth considering further. All that's part of the major detail that we would get and then share with you. But I will say the fees are generally a standard of whatever the fees are for a bond issuing authority.
Do you need a motion or?
Greg, from what I've heard, I don't think I have enough information to say yay or nay at this point. I think on the, you know, general overview, it sounds like a great thing, but I don't think there's been enough information presented to say yay or nay.
Well, that's fine. All we really wanted to know was if you were totally opposed to the concept, where we just stopped. But if you're not totally opposed, then we would continue to get more information. But I did not even want to go down that street without first briefing the board on the concept. I didn't want you to not know that we were having some discussion about it.
Greg, what might be helpful for board members is just a sort of a broad brush overview of how bond facilitation through a public authority operates. Obviously, our statutory and constitutional economic development authorities, you know, do that with regularity, but this is unique for the Downtown Development Authority. It might be helpful just to kind of, at the next meeting, kind of have a broad framework of how that generally operates.
Be happy to do that. And I will say that the Downtown Development Authority has one additional step in issuing bonds, which it must be approved by mayor and commission. But But I'll bring that detail next month.
Yeah,
Sounds
Greg,
great.
I think get as much information as you can, and the more information, the more informed decision we can all make.
Very good.
Any idea when we're going to start back and forth and parking? I've tried to go to that liquor store Jason owns a couple times over there, and I can't even get a parking spot out front.
Oh man.
Well, we,
You have to be like us and get here early in the morning and get a parking space this block.
Do we want to discuss any or have any discussion on the parking?
Well, that actually is a kind of a serious question. I'm curious when we are going to start getting parking revenue again. Have we talked about a target date for that?
So what we're looking at is that we would probably turn the meters on next week, issue warnings for either 1 week or 2 weeks. We have a lot of people who we feel like are storing their cars downtown, which, was fine up to a point. And then we'll start ticketing either in a week or 2 weeks. And we'll probably start with just giving over the limit, over 2 hours tickets. We want kind of to ease people back into it. But at the same time, I do feel like, the car storage issue has reached a point where we've got to start freeing up spaces for business people.
Will that apply to the parking deck as well?
We've talked about leaving the deck open for a couple of weeks, just to, try to push people off of the street into the deck. But that'll be something we have to monitor pretty closely.
I don't have a specific suggestion for this, but I know that like I have a tenant that's doing a very brisk Grubhub and delivery business, and there's probably a lot of drivers that are going to be just temporarily parking, waiting on picking up food and leaving, and we might, I don't know, just put that in our thoughts and figure out how we would handle. Does somebody need to pay, feed a meter for sitting there for 2 minutes, or is there some? I don't know I don't know how delivery vehicles are handled. We're gonna have a lot more of that.
I wonder if one prospect is to have some kind of very specific delivery vehicle program with hang tags and the like. I mean, I'm just thinking out
I thought
loud.
maybe you could even buy one. Maybe the I mean, I know that Clocked has got like 4 Grubhub drivers sitting out in front waiting to pick up bags of food, which is great. I mean, they're making a go of this, but maybe they could buy a $25 tag per month just to be a delivery driver, and then there's a set of rules. They can't store their vehicles, or they can only park in a spot for more than 15 minutes, or maybe there's some list of rules, and then they just purchase a, a delivery vehicle, food, not a delivery like a food, not like you're the guy that supplies the can, the restaurant supplies. I mean, just like you're picking up and delivering food in cars.
Yeah, we do allow delivery drivers to do that, like Cosmic and Grubhub, but maybe a good thing to do would be to remind our restaurants that we do that, and then and remind our delivery people too.
I mean, the last thing I want to see is we've got these restaurants making a go of to-go food, and they're really have retooled and doing a good job of it. And I certainly don't want to see their Grubhub people start getting $20 tickets, and
So, Drew, what Cosmic Delivery does is they have all of their drivers, they have a big printout that says Cosmic Delivery Driver, and they put that in the front window of their car. I didn't know that they had like a grace period for parking anywhere, but I've always wondered why they had that big sign in their car. So I don't know.
That's why they're not ticketed if they have one of those. Yeah.
okay.
Encourage the restaurants to let the services they're using, be it Grubhub, Cosmic, Bulldog Food, Postmates, for their drivers to take that responsibility and put that in their car.
So you're saying if there's a car that says I'm a delivery driver for picking Ted's Pizza, then they're not going to give them a ticket if they're sitting there waiting on food.
Right.
Okay.
And that's another reason that we wanted to start off. I mean, we're thinking about starting off just giving over the limit 2-hour tickets, because that'll give a chance for our ticket writers to communicate with people like that, make sure everybody's on the same page.
Right. Right. Sounds great.
All right. I guess we can move on to the financial report.
So again, as I mentioned before, of course, the parking financials have gone to just about 1/10 of what they normally are. But we do expect, unless something changes, we do expect to have some income in June. And even with that amount, we will probably break even during the year, or come out with a little bit of management fee. So, and for the new members, it's a little odd. It's almost like you get a grant in 1 year and you spend it the next year. So the money that we're spending in this fiscal year is what we made in the last fiscal year. So what we make or don't make in this fiscal year that we're in now is what will move forward to next year. And that's why that budget is, so low for next year. So, but again, that's why we want to wait and look at the budget again once we see those numbers closer. And I think most of you know, but if you don't, Rachel's done a great job of getting our parking folks that had to, go to unemployment. She's done a great job of getting them on the COVID unemployment program too. So.
All right, thanks, Linda. I guess I'll announce that our next meeting will be Thursday, June 11th. I guess we don't know if that'll be in person or via our webcams here. But does anyone have any suggested agenda topics for next month's meeting?
I thought I would offer, if we don't know whether we're having it in person or webinar, I will offer my courtyard downtown if the weather permits, if y'all want to have it outside. Might be a hybrid.
That's awesome, Drew. Thank you.
Might work. We can all sit 6 feet apart and on my park benches or something.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess we'll see where we're at come June.
Well, I'm just tossing it out there.
Yeah, no, and definitely thanks for offering that up. I'm sure everybody.
I have one other thing I just want to let y'all know we've been seeing, and we haven't even had that many cars, but we've been finding a lot of the masks on the ground in the Bottle Works area. So we've been picking them up with gloves and disposing of them. But as people continue to wear these disposable masks, I think there's going to be some issues around litter and carefully, responsibly disposing of these potentially hazardous masks.
Interesting.
I would add gloves also. I see a lot of gloves on the ground.
There's Michael Bean. How are you? Michael, we're working towards the end here, but if you'd like to give a report from Street Outreach, I'm sure we'd love to hear it.
Thanks, I'd be happy to. I never thought I would be so happy to see all y'all's faces again. It's really great to see your faces. Oh, boy. Yeah, well, we've been busy, and we've set up our quarantine unit. It's at a local hotel. We're using the ACC funds that we were awarded for it. Currently, we have 7 individuals there, with 2 additional ones being processed. It's a housing first model. And in addition to housing at the hotel room, we're offering staffing, security, case management, housing assistance, telemedicine, COVID testing. We just had a testing event there today, 100% participation rate with our clients. Also, food is being offered there too, and trying to keep them isolated as best as possible. And that's for people who are either over 65 years of age or have some medical condition that makes them medically vulnerable to not surviving an infection. In addition, also get in at least one outreach event per week. Water and food are the most requested items. So that's I've been trying to do that once a week also.
Michael, this is Kelly. How many hotel rooms are being utilized right now? And you may not know the sum total because I know that some is flown through Advantage and then some through other agencies. But if you could let us know kind of what that utilization looks like to the best of your knowledge.
Sure. Advantage, we're currently occupying 6 rooms with 7 individuals. And my guess, I can't intelligently Athens-Clarke, but I believe they're occupying 12 rooms with 12 families. And like I said, we have 2 more being processed that will move in tomorrow or Monday.
Okay. Just, and obviously this from my position kind of with the unified government, but if you do find that you need more capacity, let us know.
Thank you. I mean, we're to ramp up our roster incrementally, and also we're trying to ramp up the services that we offer incrementally. So that's kind of where we're at right now after just under 1 week.
How much food and water is necessary? I mean, you're trying to obtain a week or daily or what?
I mean, that's a great question. And, people have different ways of getting food and water, but to kind of support the idea of shelter in place, we're trying to do coverage as best we can. And really, it's not a matter of donations of water. We can afford, 50-gallon jugs of water. It's really about doing the legwork. That's our limiting factor. And there aren't a lot of people who are available and have the free time and kind of the skill set and the knowledge to kind of tromp in the woods and drop off water. So I don't have a hard number for you. I mean, we have the point in time count. I would estimate there's between 100 and 200 people probably staying in encampments that could benefit from water and food delivery.
Food. Is that 3 meals a day or 2 meals a day? How many meals are you trying to feed them?
Well, let me tell you, are you speaking of who are keeping quarantined at the hotel, or are you talking about unsheltered people who are sleeping rough?
Well, I guess just give me the whole thing. Where I can
Sure. The hotel, we're providing really an equivalent of 3 meals a day in 1 week increments, and that's coming from ACCA and Meals on Wheels, and also Hugh Atchison's program. They also have access to the hotel breakfast, which is kind of a grab and go situation there. So they're set for food.
Okay.
As far as people sleeping rough, people staying downtown and so on, there's still ways for them to get say about a meal a day through First Baptist Church and through Sparrow's Nest and Homeless Day. Really what I'm trying to do, at first I created kind of an ambitious model to put together a team of volunteers to kind of spread out and take meals and groceries and so on. But due to lack of success at that, really what I'm trying to do is once a week, either fill up my SUV, which is much water as I can put in the back, or as many meals as I can fit in the back, and drive around to places where I know people congregate until I don't have any left. So I'm definitely not supplying 3 meals a day or anything close to that. I'm really just trying to touch as many people as I can in the off time that I have.
That's pretty much what I'm doing too. Maybe once a week I just load up and just ride around and just give out meals. So. Okay.
If you have any questions about locations or about synchronizing what we're doing, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Michael. It's great to see you, and keep up the good work, man. I know everyone appreciates it. Just thanks, honestly.
kind of on the note of outreach and food support for unsheltered persons, and those who need help. Big shout out to Whit over there at his tropical paradise in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen for all his help with our daily bread.
Kelly, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, let's just be aware of the potential hazards of these masks and gloves being discarded just all over town.
All right, thanks for that, Whit. Maybe somebody can talk to solid waste about it and kind of give them a heads up with what's going on. But with that being said, do we have any executive session business today?
Nothing today.
All right, I guess I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I guess not. It was so good seeing and hearing from everyone. Let me just say that.
Seeing everybody.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Everybody.
Thank
You guys call me more often.
Bye, everybody.